Hello. My name is Alexander. Today I will tell you about 20 classic cars with clamshell bonnets. Be sure to watch this video to the end. You definitely didn't know that. Go. A different perspective. Automobiles adorned with clamshell hoods are an uncommon spectacle. While some provide superior access to the engine compartment, the majority are driven by aesthetic considerations. Diminishing interruptions in the bodywork fabricates a seamless visage, a feat challenging to accomplish with numerous disparate segments. Conversely, a clamshell hood enables the vehicle's interior to coalesce into an exquisitely fluid form of metal or fiberglass, though numerous front-hinged hoods warrant admiration. This discourse zeroes in on clamshell hoods that envelop the front wheel arches, showcasing 20 exemplary instances. Jaguar XKSS. First, we have the Jaguar XKSS, a model perhaps not typically linked with this bonnet style, yet an early manifestation of the clamshell design, derived from the D-Type. The XKSS was its street-legal counterpart, utilizing unsold racing models. A catastrophic factory fire in 1957 destroyed 9 of the 25 planned vehicles, leaving only 16 in existence. Owing to their scarcity, XKSS models are highly coveted and rarely seen on the market. This particular specimen, bearing the registration Jag1, was auctioned by RM Sotheby's in 2023 for a remarkable $13,205,000. Lotus 11 Series 2 Sierra Leone and Leon's Mans. Following the successful debut of the Lotus 11 Series 1, which saw 150 units sold within a year, the Series 2 further boosted the company's profits. Of the 11 epitomized Colin Chapman's commitment to a lightweight design, featuring an aerodynamic silhouette and aluminum bodywork. This particular Lotus 11, once owned and raced by Renato Bertarelli, was modified to GT specifications with a fiberglass roof, gullwing doors, and smaller wheel arches to showcase the rims. The current owner, who has had the car since 1988, restored it to its original configuration while retaining the roof. Bertarelli enjoyed 5 years of racing the 11 across the UK, competing at circuits such as Goodwood, Crystal Palace, Brands Hatch, Snetterton, and Silverstone, before selling it in 1967. Austin-Healey Sprite. Originally, the Austin-Healey Sprite came with a standard, rear-hinged bonnet. However, over the years, many owners opted to convert it into a front-hinged clamshell version. The rear-hinged design provided limited space under the bonnet for engine access. Changing to a front-hinged configuration offered a significantly better vantage point for maintenance, and the car's minimal front overhang ensured that the mechanism operated smoothly without scraping the nose on the ground. Alfa Romeo 33 Straydale. In pursuit of Alfa Romeo's racing triumphs from the first half of the century, the company introduced the 33 to rejuvenate its motorsport division. The goal was to develop a vehicle that could compete fiercely in the World Sports Car Championship. A fiberglass body was designed to ensure the car met the minimum weight requirement of 600 kilograms, 1,322 pounds. Fewer interruptions in the bodywork helped to reduce weight and create an aerodynamic shape. The plan succeeded, and the 33 quickly achieved winning finishes. Ford GT40. Short, mid-engine racing cars were the pinnacle of design in the 1960s, and the GT40 excelled in this regard. Standing just slightly taller than the Alfa Romeo 33 Straydale, it measured 40 inches (1,016 millimeters) in height, which inspired its name. Initially, Ford named it the GT, but the nickname GT40 became its official designation. During its development, Bruce McLaren served as Ford's test track driver, identifying and resolving issues with pre-production models. The team dedicated 10 months to perfecting the car before time trials at Le Mans revealed the necessity for a large spoiler to enhance high-speed handling. In 1966, a Ford GT40 Mk2, driven by McLaren and Chris Amon, triumphed at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, ending Ferrari's 6-year winning streak. Jaguar E-Type. Now we come to one of the most iconic uses of the clamshell bonnet. Effortlessly stylish and sleek, the Jaguar E-Type smooth lines were made possible by its massive front-hinged bonnet. Throughout various iterations from 1961 to 1974, its instantly recognizable body shape and extremely long nose remained consistent. Saab Sonnet 2. The first time Saab used the Sonnet name, it was for a car that looked like a fusion of a Jaguar D-Type and an Mk1 Austin-Healey Sprite. In 1966, Saab introduced the second iteration of the model, featuring a wedge-shaped design with a large rear window that wrapped around the sides of the car. The Sonnet 2 was initially launched with an 841 cubic centimeters engine, but in 1967, this was replaced with a more powerful 1,498 cubic centimeters Ford Taunus V4, resulting in the Sonnet V4. To accommodate the new engine, a bulging Bonnet was introduced, slightly offset to one side to maintain a clear line of sight for the driver. While functional, the design was not popular, leading to a rework in 1970 for the Sonnet 3. The final version of the Sonnet was more angular and eliminated the clamshell bonnet altogether. Lamborghini Miura. The Lamborghini Miura is often credited as the world's first supercar and, at its debut, was the fastest production vehicle ever made. Unveiled in 1966, it set the standard for numerous other exceptional cars, and with its front and rear clamshells open, the V12 engine is prominently displayed behind the cabin. The pictured example has passed through several French owners and was sold in Paris in 2024 for €954,500, approximately £812,300. The most expensive Miura, as of this writing, sold for £3,207,000. Marcos 3-liter GT. Marcos was founded by Jem Marsh and Frank Costin in 1959. The two combined the first three letters of their surnames to create the Marcos brand. During the war, Frank Costin worked on the de Havilland Mosquito, a combat aircraft with a mostly wooden airframe. He applied these principles to car manufacturing. In 1963, the GT was unveiled at the Earl's Court Motor Show, and in 1969, the 3-liter GT was launched. By this time, the wooden chassis had been replaced with a steel structure. The Marcos brand became known for its quirky designs by Dennis Adams, many of which featured a clamshell bonnet. Triumph Vitesse. Triumph had a particular affinity for front-hinged bonnets. The Vitesse, as its name suggests, was the performance version of the Herald, featuring the same bonnet style. It's hard not to appreciate a small car with ample power from a straight-six engine and a touch of luxury. The Vitesse outperformed the Herald, but it was also 20% more expensive and less fuel efficient, which likely explains why the Herald outsold it by nearly 10-1. Triumph GT6. The next Triumph on our list is the GT6, a model closely related to the Spitfire in Vitesse, using the same straight-six engine as the Vitesse, often referred to as a budget-friendly E-Type. The GT6 was originally designed to compete with the MGB GT. The Mk1 version, produced from 1966 to 1968, was criticized for its handling, as it struggled to manage its power effectively. This led to a revision of the rear suspension for the Mk2 variant. The Mk3 GT6, launched in 1970, sold better than the Mk2, with 13,042 units produced before production ended in 1973. Lancia Stratos HF. The wedge shape isn't typically ideal for a clamshell bonnet, but the Lancia Stratos manages to make it work. This design primarily facilitates quick access to the engine, eliminating the need to fumble with a traditional bonnet. It simply flips open to reveal the crucial mechanics beneath. The car pictured had a racing career from 1977 to 1984, competing in events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, the 12 Hours of Sebring, and the 6 Hours of Watkins Glen. Triumph Spitfire. You were waiting for this one, weren't you? The final Triumph on our list is, of course, the Spitfire. Launched in 1962, it was based on the Herald and designed to compete with the Austin-Healey Sprite. That same year, the MGB was introduced, sparking a battle among British manufacturers for the title of the best convertible sports car. We'll let you decide which was the greatest, but the Spitfire was unique in featuring a clamshell bonnet straight from the factory. The Triumph Spitfire was a significant success, remaining in production until 1980, with approximately 315,000 units built. TVR 3000S. The TVR 3000S was based on the 3000M, which featured a 3-liter Ford Essex V6 engine accessed by opening its clamshell bonnet. This engine propelled the coupe to a top speed of 121 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 7.7 seconds. The 3000 milliliters was the luxury variant, adding walnut veneer, Wilton carpets, and a sunroof. In 1978, TVR introduced the convertible version, the company's first ever roadster. A total of 258 units of the 3000S were produced, 67 of which were left-hand drive. 13 of these were the result of a collaboration with Broadspeed, which turbocharged the engine, increasing the top speed to 140 miles per hour and reducing the 0 to 60 miles per hour time to 5.8 seconds. AM General Humvee. Created for pure utility, the Humvee stands as a testament to the practicality of the clamshell bonnet. In 1983, AM General secured an Army contract to supply 55,000 Humvees over 5 years. Officially named the High Mobility Multipurpose Wheeled Vehicle, HMMWV, the nickname Humvee was adopted for convenience. By 2012, 280,000 Humvees had been produced, leaving tire tracks on 6 continents through various military agreements. The Humvee's versatility has led to its use in numerous applications, including single and double cab versions, medical units, weapon carriers, and tow trucks. In its standard configuration, it can drive through up to 30 inches (762 millimeters) of water. With a fording kit, it can tackle depths twice that. Marcos Mantara. The Mantara was Marcos's first type-approved model. Until 1992, Marcos had been selling its cars under kit-car regulations, making this their first venture into full-scale manufacturing. To complement the V8 engine, Marcos updated the Mantilla chassis with a new suspension setup based on the Ford Sierra, featuring McPherson struts in the front and independent rear suspension. This modification widened the track and stretched the bodywork over the front, resulting in bulging wheel arches. Dodge Viper. The Dodge Viper made its debut as a concept at the 1989 Detroit Auto Show, with production starting 3 years later. Designed to be a no-frills sports car, it was all about raw power, courtesy of an 8-liter V10 engine co-developed with Lamborghini, which grew to an 8.4-liter V10 by the 5th generation. The first-generation Viper came with the bare essentials. It lacked air conditioning, stability control, ABS, or roof, and even exterior door handles. Despite these omissions, it could reach 60 miles per hour in 4.2 seconds, making it faster than a Chevrolet Corvette or Porsche 911 at the time. TVR Cerbera Speed 12. This was the only Cerbera Speed 12 ever produced by TVR, and for good reason. The goal was to create a supercar capable of competing with the McLaren F1 GTR, with the ambition of eventually racing in the GT1 class at Le Mans. Legend has it that after combining 2 Cerbera Speed 6 straight-six engines to create a 7.7-liter V12, the resulting power was simply too overwhelming. Estimated to be around 960 bhp, intended to be both a track machine and a road-going car, the project was ultimately cancelled after Peter Wheeler, the company's owner, drove a prototype home and deemed it impractical. Although the Cerbera Speed 12 never reached its full racing potential, the sole example was sold in 2023 for an astonishing £601,500. Noble M12. Built on a shoestring budget, all resources were devoted to the car itself, leaving no marketing budget when the Noble M12 was launched. Fortunately, the supercar's performance spoke volumes, earning coverage from journalists in 50 countries. Priced at a relatively affordable £44,950 in supercar terms, the M12 was lauded as the ultimate driver's car and the best value for performance. Released in 2000, it became the first supercar of the 21st century, brought to market by the relatively unknown brand Noble, which had been founded only in 1999. The M12 remained in production until 2008, following the departure of founder Lee Noble, who sold the company in 2006. Ultima GTR. Renowned for its track prowess and straight-line speed, the Ultima GTR was available as a kit car or fully assembled by the factory. Owners could choose whichever engine suited their preferences, but Ultima recommended a Chevrolet V8. The Ultima GTR has a connection to the previous car we discussed. Lee Noble founded Ultima in 1983 before selling it to Ted and Richard Marlowe in 1992. The GTR debuted in 1999 with the aim of breaking records. Its achievements included fastest 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 2.6 seconds, fastest 0 to 100 miles per hour time of 5.3 seconds, fastest 30 to 70 miles per hour time of 1.8 seconds, fastest 100 to 0 miles per hour braking time of 3.6 seconds, and fastest 0-100-0 mph time of 9.4 seconds.